Are you considering relocating to Scotts Valley? Want to know what type of wildlife you will encounter on a day-to-day and how it will affect your life? Don't worry, you're not the only person who thinks about these types of things. I do open houses all the time, and this is actually one of the top questions that I get, especially from people who are not familiar with the area. This answer does vary depending on what area you are in Scotts Valley, but I will be covering it all, and I will be going from the least intrusive wildlife to the more dangerous wildlife. So make sure you stick around till the end. Hey guys, this is Jose SALAS with the Living in Scotts Valley channel. If you're new to this channel, it's everything to do about living in Scotts Valley on a daily basis. So if you find this content helpful for you, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button so that way every single time I make a video, you get a notification. If there's specific content that you want to see, make sure to throw it in the comments. That helps me make better content for you. And lastly, if you're really considering relocating to this area and need help, you can reach out to me directly. My phone number and email will be in the description. Now, before I start, I will say I am no animal expert. The extent to me and animals is I have a dog that is that big, he's fluffy, had fish, little things here and there. But my intention here is to help you figure out how you will enjoy your experience living here based off of the wildlife here and from the stories I have to share, as well as the stories that I've heard from other people. So number one is the black-tailed deer. These I do not ever see in town. I see them on the outskirts of town near the wooded areas. They're very cute to look at, especially when you see a family of them with the babies. Super precious. The way that I see them impacting people's life on a daily basis is gardens. You have to protect your gardens. If you're into gardening, I always see people putting up deer fencing around whatever they don't want deer to eat. They, from what I have heard, can carry Lyme disease. So if you're big into hiking and being outdoors and you have a property that you are outdoors a lot, there's a potential for you to get ticks that have Lyme disease. My dog has gotten ticks from hikes and has Lyme disease. I found that out, I want to say 8 to 9 years ago. Luckily, Lyme disease does not affect dogs the way that it does humans, from what I was told, and that's great for me and him. I do know somebody that has gotten Lyme disease from a tick. I don't speak to them much anymore, but I do kind of vaguely remember them sharing stories about that. And lastly, driving safety. So if you're going on windy roads in areas that you can go a little bit faster, in wooded areas, you have to really look out for those guys. They will just jump in the middle of the street out of nowhere. And I had a friend that hit a deer and it forced her face into her steering wheel and gave her a black eye. I've heard of people crashing from hitting deers. It's not fun to see a deer getting hit. I've seen the aftermath of a deer getting hit that didn't die all the way, and that really sucked to see. Again, I don't see those in town in Scotts Valley, like around all the commercial and residential, but up near Lockhart Gulch, northern Scotts Valley, in the wooded areas, you see them all the time. Number two is the gray fox. Now, I have never seen one of these guys before, and I've lived in wooded areas. From what I know, that's where they stay. And from what I know, those guys like to keep very well hidden. The way that I see these guys affect people's lives in Scotts Valley on a daily basis is, one, make sure to put away food and dog food, things that you don't want to be eaten. Two, make sure small pets are kept inside in the evenings, and just always really keep an eye on small pets. Chickens, making sure that they have fully enclosed cages. Those guys will pick off your chickens. And again, I've never seen one of these guys. My wife has seen some. living in Lockhart Gulch area that's closest to Felton in Scotts Valley. So I don't know how much people actually run into these guys. That's number 2. Number 3 is raccoons. Do deal with these a lot in rural Scotts Valley. To be honest with you, I actually haven't really seen them in town too often. I'm pretty sure people do see them in town because those guys are everywhere in Santa Cruz County. A couple things that you need to watch out for these guys, actually a lot are similar to the gray fox. You have to watch any type of food that you leave out, pet food, any type of leftovers, they will get into it. Trash cans, some areas you actually have to put a bungee cord on your trash can so they don't knock it over and take out all your trash, which is super annoying. I lived in one area to where they would do that and actually figured out how to rip off the bungee cord too, which really sucked. Another thing that they might do too is go underneath your house and rip out your insulation. I've seen it on a lot of inspection reports. That's why you need to make sure that the bottoms of your house or just your whole house in general is tightly enclosed from any critters. I also have heard that those guys can get aggressive. I have no personal experience with that. I have had a raccoon kind of stalked me and my wife before in Santa Cruz, but it didn't go too far and we just were able to walk away pretty quick. So you are going to want to make sure that if you're in an area that has seen raccoons, just make sure to keep an extra eye on, small children, small animals. But other than that, they're around. All right, guys. Number 4 is turkeys. I don't really see these in town in Scotts Valley, but in rural Scotts Valley I have a few stories with these guys. I have a love and hate relationship with them. The first thing to know about them is they can get aggressive during mating season. I haven't had a turkey actually show aggression towards me, and I've walked pretty close to them. They usually kind of fly or float away whenever you get close to them. But just know, and I'm pretty sure this is pretty universal, but during mating season, if you have a black car, make sure you keep it garaged. I had a black car and I had a turkey that pretty much lived on our premises. He just claimed that area and he could see his reflection in the black car very, very clear, and he would peck at it. And I used to have to run and go shoo him away so often. They're very territorial. They will stay in the area. Now that turkey we called Hank the Tank. And with a territorial instinct from them, there was also a good side to that too. One time we had a bobcat attack chickens and Hank the Tank came and ran off the bobcat. I'm not sure why, but I think it was just him being territorial. They poop everywhere, which sucks. If you have turkeys living on your property, walkways, they don't care. There's just tons of green little poops everywhere. And for some reason, dogs like to eat them. Not sure why. They're not fun to step on either. It's not as messy as regular mammal poop. There's little green, dryish pellets, but it is gross when your dogs eat them, and it does suck to have to clean them up because it gets everywhere. Another thing that can be kind of annoying is on roadways, driving safety. If you're driving on a road kind of fast, they are in more rural areas, but times you'll just hit a blind corner and just boom, a pack of wild turkeys, just 15 of them, and they do not move. You can honk at them, you can get close to them, they don't move. So I don't know how much it really impacts driving safety, but it could just be really annoying when you're trying to go somewhere. And the first time that it happens, the second time it's kind of fun. It's these guys don't move. But when it happens kind of often, it's a little annoying, and you just kind of have to wait for them to move. But otherwise, it's pretty much on their time. Another thing that they do that could be annoying to some people if they don't like noise, they do their little whatever noise they do at all times of the day. I actually think it's kind of funny. I'm an early riser too, so it doesn't really bug me, but sometimes it's pretty constant. But overall, they're pretty fun little guys, and I always respect Hank the Tank for saving the chickens. So there you go, turkeys. All right, guys, we are number 5, which leads us to the more dangerous animals. And number 5 is bobcats. I have seen these in rural Scotts Valley, but I haven't had any experience or have seen them in town. I'm not sure if I've even heard of anybody seeing bobcats in town. But my wife's parents, who still live in rural Scotts Valley in the Lockhart Gulch area, have had to deal with some problems from a bobcat. They have chickens, and about 2 years ago, a bobcat broke into the chicken coop and killed about 7 of them. Didn't even eat any of them. It just like killed them and stacked them. And this was like I don't know if this is how bobcats are. This one was like just deranged and just mad. There was times where my wife's parents, or even one time my wife, would just go and shout at it and stuff, and it just would not leave. My wife actually went out and scared it with a leaf blower one time, and that was enough to help it get it away at least. And I'm glad my wife's all right. I've never had an encounter with a bobcat. From what I know, they're pretty small in Santa Cruz County. With these guys, it's just important to, around evening and dawn hunting hours, just to make sure to watch small pets, watch small children. Again, if you're gonna have outdoor creatures or outdoor animals, just make sure that they're in a safe, contained area. I really wouldn't recommend having dogs, cats, anything outside because of bobcats and some of the other animals that we're going to talk about, but that's number 5. So this next one, in my opinion, is probably the most intrusive wildlife animal that we have in Scotts Valley, and probably on the more dangerous side. These guys are everywhere, in town and in rural Scotts Valley. I've seen them in both, and I hear of a lot of bad stories about them. This is number 6. Number 6 is coyotes. These guys, you're gonna wanna make sure to watch out for your small animals, and even regular sized dogs and regular animals, small children, especially during the times that they're out and about more often. I usually see them in the mornings, more than anything, very early in the morning. I've seen them walking on main streets when I was driving at like 6 a.m. See them everywhere. These guys are the reasons why you don't want to have outdoor pets. There are people that have outdoor cats that I see in Scotts Valley a lot, and it just seems like pretty often I see posters of missing cats, and I've heard of people's cats getting eaten by coyotes, and I would just never leave a dog outside anywhere in Scotts Valley, and I would never have an outdoor cat. I just feel like it's a pretty high risk, and coyotes are very, very, they don't get scared off that easy. And I've seen videos of them even in different places in Santa Cruz County trying to attack people's pets, even with them. If you're going on hikes, I've always had my dog on a leash. Yeah, these guys probably cause more of the problems in Santa Cruz County and in Scotts Valley, and I think that is the extent to it. So yeah, it's mainly just keeping an eye out for and doing the right precautions to keep your pets and small children safe. I haven't heard of them attacking a human in Santa Cruz County. It's mostly revolved around people's pets. We are now at number 7, which brings us to the most potential dangerous animal that we have in Scotts Valley. These guys are mostly in rural Scotts Valley and sometimes show up in town. Number 7 is the mountain lion, the cougar, the puma. I have only seen one of these once, and it wasn't in Scotts Valley. It was actually in Boulder Creek. It's pretty crazy. I didn't even know I was literally walking straight up to a mountain lion. I was probably about like 20 feet away from it, and I don't know, like it was just faced away from me, or its body was faced away from me. It was looking at me. It didn't come off aggressive or anything, and I just kept walking towards it. And I don't know if it was like the jingle of my keys that were on my hip like scared it off, and it just ran away. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh shoot, that was really a mountain lion. But I haven't seen one personally in Scotts Valley. I've seen them on a lot of cameras. My wife's parents get mountain lions on their outside cameras very often. I think one of their neighbors caught a mountain lion on their camera while it was hunting a deer, which is pretty crazy. About a year ago, it might have been like a year or two ago, there was a mountain lion that killed a deer and brought it onto the back of the Sky Park Trail, which is pretty much central Scotts Valley, and it just left its carcass there. That doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. There's also been a lot of stories of mountain lions seeking out people's pets, cats, dogs. There was one that actually happened in Boulder Creek where it attacked a dog and the dog survived, which that was actually a few months ago. Pretty crazy to hear, but you're gonna wanna take the same precautions as you take as coyotes with mountain lions. Just be very vigilant when you're doing, walks in rural Scotts Valley in the evening or in their hunting time, in the mornings. I don't see these animals as being as persistent as coyotes. They are very stealthy from what I know. Again, because of mountain lions, because of coyotes, and because of bobcats. Those are all the reasons why I would not have outdoor pets. That's going to be the biggest precaution. I guess the biggest way that it could change your life if you're used to having outdoor pets. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, that's number 7. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun doing this video. I love animals and I really had a lot of fun covering it, along with the stories that I had to share. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comments, and if you found this content super helpful, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. I will make videos regularly. And again, if you're really considering relocating to Scotts Valley, call me. Again, my phone number and email is in the description, and I'm happy to help. Later guys.